Listen carefully. Don't blink. Don't even shift your breathing too loud, because what I'm about to say is the one thing they pray you never figure out. They're acting normal around you, smiling, nodding, laughing at the right moments, pretending nothing's changed. But something about you is making them unstable. And the most dangerous part? You didn't even try to do it. See, that's what's breaking them. That quiet, unexplainable shift in you. Not louder, not more aggressive, not more desperate. No. You became harder to read, and now their minds are tearing themselves apart trying to understand what you've become. Because you used to be predictable. You used to react on cue, laugh when expected, doubt yourself right on schedule, play your little role in their comfortable little script. But something snapped, didn't it? Not loudly, not dramatically, silently. Pain did that to you. Pain sat you down, stripped you open, showed you exactly how fragile approval is, how fake loyalty feels when it cracks, how quickly people switch when you stop being convenient. And instead of breaking you, it split you into something they can't categorize anymore. You see, they're used to dealing with one version of a person, the good one, the weak one, the loud one, the follower. But you became both, the calm and the chaos, the smile and the silence behind it. The one who can be kind, but no longer needs to be. And that right there, that contradiction, that's what's poisoning their thoughts. Because now they don't know which version they're dealing with. Are you the one who forgives, or the one who remembers everything? Are you the one who stays quiet, or the one who walks away without a word and never looks back? Are you the angel they underestimated, or the demon they accidentally created? And here's the part that really destroys them. You don't even explain yourself anymore. No closure, no justification, no emotional outbursts to give them something to analyze. Just presence, controlled, measured, unreadable. And their minds, oh, their minds hate that. Because humans are addicted to patterns. They need to label you to feel safe. Ah, he's harmless. She always comes back. He won't do anything. But you broke the pattern. Now every interaction with you feels like standing near a loaded weapon with no safety switch. You're not loud, but you could be. You're not aggressive, but they can feel it underneath. You're not chasing, but you're definitely not waiting either. And that tension, that invisible edge, it's driving them insane. They go home and think about you, replay your words, analyze your silence. Why didn't you react? Why didn't you care? Why didn't you explain? Because deep down, they felt something shift, something cold, something controlled, something that says, I've seen enough, I've learned enough, I don't need to prove anything anymore. And that is terrifying to people who relied on your old version. You became unpredictable, and unpredictability is power. Not the loud, screaming kind. No, the quiet kind. The kind that makes people hesitate before speaking to you. The kind that makes them second-guess their tone. The kind that makes them watch you instead of dismissing you. Because now, they don't know your limits. They don't know what you'll tolerate. They don't know what you've already decided in silence. And here's the twisted paradox. You didn't become this by gaining something. You became this by losing everything that made you easy to control. The need for approval, the fear of being misunderstood, the attachment to being seen as good. Gone. Burned out of you by disappointment, betrayal, and those quiet nights where nobody showed up for you but your own thoughts. Pain didn't weaken you. It refined you. Turned your emotions into something sharper, more precise, less reactive, more intentional. You don't explode anymore. You choose. And that choice, that restraint, that's what makes you dangerous. Because now, if you ever do act, it means you meant it. No impulsive mistakes, no emotional accidents, just decision. Cold, clear, final. And they feel that, even if they can't explain it, even if they laugh it off, even if they pretend everything's the same. Their instincts are screaming at them, something changed. This isn't the same person. Be careful. And you know what the funniest part is? You're still you, same face, same voice, same presence. But internally, you crossed a line they didn't even see. A line where you stopped seeking and started observing, stopped reacting and started calculating, stopped needing and started allowing. And once someone reaches that point, they can never go back. So let them act normal, let them smile, let them pretend they're not affected. Because behind that performance, their minds are unstable, trying to solve a version of you that no longer exists, trying to predict someone who no longer follows patterns, trying to control someone who already let go, and you don't need to say a word, because the silence you carry now is louder than anything you used to prove, and it's echoing in their heads over and over. What did you become? And that question, that quiet, obsessive, itching question echoing in the back of their minds. What did you become? It doesn't leave them. It follows them into conversations that have nothing to do with you. It slips into their thoughts when they're trying to focus on something else. It shows up at night, when the noise dies down, when the distractions fade, when it's just them, and that uncomfortable realization they can't shake. You're no longer predictable. You're no longer reachable in the same way. You're no longer theirs to understand. And that's where the real fracture begins. Because people don't fear aggression the way they fear uncertainty. Aggression can be labeled, managed, avoided. But you became a question mark, a walking contradiction, a paradox they can't solve. You can sit there in complete silence and still dominate the entire room without moving a muscle. You can smile and still feel completely out of reach. You can listen without giving them a single piece of your internal world. And that imbalance, that lack of access, that's what makes them spiral. Because once upon a time, they had access to you. They knew how to trigger you. They knew what made you react. They knew how to get a rise out of you, how to pull emotion out of you like a puppet on strings. But now, they pull the same strings, and nothing moves. Do you understand how unsettling that is? To press the same buttons and get no response. To expect chaos and receive calm. To expect weakness and feel control. That's not just change, that's disruption. And disruption creates fear. Because now they're the ones reacting. Now they're the ones overthinking. Now they're the ones trying to figure out where they stand. Roles reversed, power flipped. Without you ever announcing it, without you ever demanding it. You didn't take control. You simply stopped giving it away. And here's the part that really twists their reality. You didn't become colder. You became selective. You didn't lose emotion. You learned where it no longer belongs. You didn't stop caring. You stopped caring about the wrong things. But from the outside, it looks like detachment. It looks like distance. It looks like you've become something almost inhuman. And that illusion, it feeds their fear. Because humans are comfortable around weakness, they understand flaws. They feel safe when they can see your cracks. But when those cracks disappear, or worse, when you learn how to hide them. You stop being familiar, you start becoming something they have to approach carefully. And now, every interaction with you carries weight. Every word you say gets analyzed. Every silence gets interpreted. Every glance gets overread. Because they don't know which side of you they're dealing with. The light or the dark, the calm or the storm, the version that lets things slide, or the version that ends things without hesitation. That duality, that perfect balance between restraint and capability, that's what makes you dangerous. Because you're not driven by impulse anymore. You're driven by awareness. You see things you used to ignore. You notice shifts in tone, energy, intention. You catch what's not being said. And once you see like that, you can't unsee it. That's the evolution they weren't ready for. They expected you to grow louder, more emotional, more reactive. But you didn't. You went the opposite direction. You became quieter, sharper, more contained, and containment is far more intimidating than chaos, because chaos burns out. But control lasts, control calculates, control waits, and now they're stuck in a loop, trying to figure out if they lost you, or if they never actually knew you at all, trying to decide if they should approach you, or stay the hell out of your way, trying to convince themselves everything's fine, while their instincts scream otherwise, because deep down, they feel it. You're not playing the same game anymore. In fact, you might not be playing at all. And that realization, that's where the panic lives. Because if you're not playing, you're not controllable, you're not predictable, you're not attached to outcomes the way you used to be, which means you can walk away at any moment. You can stay silent indefinitely. You can choose yourself without hesitation. And there's nothing they can do about it. That level of independence, it terrifies people who relied on your dependency. That level of calm, it unsettles people who fed off your reactions. That level of self-control, it exposes people who depended on your chaos. So they act normal. They keep the mask on. They pretend nothing's changed. But internally, they're adjusting, watching, recalculating.